Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. A very sort of impromptu video really today. To pay a tribute to an absolute legend. Um, and many of you guys know I've had the pleasure of interviewing some phenomenal sports stars and some real sort of legends, icons, idols of mine. Sports sort of growing up, whether it's from sort of the ages of 4 to where I'm at now. And just to share a little bit, sort of insight for you guys. I'm originally from Hampshire. Spent the best part of my life in Hampshire, and one of my biggest sporting idols ever was a cricketing Hampshire legend. So it's not just England, but an absolute Hampshire sporting legend in cricketer Robin Smith, and you obviously learned of his passing. And the sad thing is, you get older, apart from the obvious element, family members passing, which obviously is absolutely devastating. But apart from that, you then live through that sort of world where your sort of icons, idols, inspirations also end up passing, and it's really sort of sad and shocked to hear Robin's pass. And to give you a bit of an insight, I played cricket from pretty much the age of about 4, 5. I used to go to birthday parties that involved playing indoor cricket. I used to play cricket for my local team from sort of between the ages of 5 and 10. I then used to play cricket for my local area between 5 and 16. I used to be almost taking the PE lessons and helping the actual um, sort of PE teacher, as it were, actually help sort of coach during my school sort of cricket time. Yeah, and the times when we did cricket. And whilst I was, unfortunately never had, enough ability to really make it to sort of county level. Um, I've had the pleasure, of being in the nets with some great players, and I played cricket a little bit at university, and yeah, it's just very sad. One of the main inspirations, I had two inspirations for myself when it came to cricket, and I desperately wanted to have both of them um, on the channel. I've been fortunate enough to have the great Allan to speak to Allan. I'm sure he'll be sort of very sad and devastated by the passing of Robin as well. So thoughts go out obviously primarily to his family and to his dear friends and colleagues. But I've been fortunate enough to have conversations with the likes of Allan, with the likes of Stuart McGill, and know plenty of ex-cricketers and current cricketers. Um, and yeah, thoughts of anybody, at Hampshire, like Rod and anybody else that's still at the club now that obviously we knew would have known Robin, but equally, he's an absolute one of one legend. Um, yeah, just very, very, very sad. Ultimately, I don't know so much of what happened to Robin sort of post sort of playing. I know he sort of had some various troubles um, since playing, but it's just very, 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 very sad times, and left us with, for myself personally, some of the greatest sort of childhood sort of sporting memories. I used to watch Test cricket for hours, but before Test cricket for hours, and one of the reasons I used to watch Test cricket was when Robin Smith really first started playing for them. I'm Hampshire first, and England second, and used to watch him play phenomenal for Hampshire. He's one of the reasons why Shane Warne went to play for Hampshire, very good friends. And yeah, he's just very, very sad. An absolute iconic legend for Hampshire, led him to many a trophy phenomenal performances. I don't really need to wax lyrical about his ability. Sure, he wasn't the world's greatest player of spin. There wasn't that many England players that were great. And that was in the era of phenomenal spin bowlers as well. Obviously Shane Warne and obviously the Abdul Qadirs and the other sort of legends of spin bowling that were around at that time. The biggest thing I would say, he was an absolute warrior of a batsman and was phenomenal against bowling. And anyone who remembers that era of fast bowling is, we have bowlers of this generation that can at times be quick, and then you have bowlers of that generation that were frighteningly quick. And ultimately, his performances against the likes of Curtly Ambrose, one of the best fast bowlers, top five fast bowlers ever. So he was playing against your wasim akrams, your wacky younis, um, your Curtly Ambrose, your Courtney Walsh's, Malcolm Marshall was playing for as a teammate at Hampshire, for himself. I think he came into Hampshire when David Gower was there as well. Um, just an absolute phenomenal batsman and one of England's greatest ever batsmen at facing fast, and I mean absolutely rapid um, fast bowling. Fast bowling when fast bowling really was fast bowling, bouncers when they really were bouncers. Um, and I would say Robin, before I think he broke his jaw, or no, it wasn't the jaw, it was the cheekbone. He used to have a helmet that was open originally, and he got about, I think it was a bouncer. He tried to duck a bouncer, and he basically broke. I don't know if he broke an eye socket or a cheekbone around this area. And then he had to wear sort of the front visor, and I would say, he never was the same player again pre that injury. Um, for me, one of the best English batsmen ever. And post that injury, wasn't up to his normal levels. But just a phenomenal sight to watch. Used to whack the world's absolute best fast bowlers are everywhere. There wasn't a fast bowler in an era where you'd see your Michael Athertons, constantly struggle against Curtly Ambrose and your Alex Stewarts and other key players of that sort of generation. Robin Smith was the one that would come in and actually take the fight to them and never once flinched an inch. Um, One of the most talented players of playing fast bowling I've ever seen in one of the hardest eras of playing fast bowling. And I think, was it an average test average of 43? But this was in an era when every test was a hard test. The bowling was absolutely phenomenal. This wasn't, I don't want to sort of downplay other people's credentials to really upsell his, but equally 43 in that era is like 65, 70 in this era. Sure, we have great bowling, but nothing to that level. There isn't a bowler alive at the moment that's of the ilk of a Curtly Ambrose. Curtly Ambrose was ripping everybody apart at that point. You had your Alan Donalds of the world that was phenomenal. And and like I say, you've had your wasim akrams, your wacky younis, and just phenomenal bowlers everywhere at that time. And yeah, all I can say is, thank you for the phenomenal, a little bit of a tear in the eye, but it went up. Thank you for the phenomenal memories, Judge. The reason I got into cricket was by watching yourself. Some of my best years of playing sport, and I played cricket for probably the longest period out of all the sports I've played. I played cricket for near on just under 20 years. I played cricket, and a good reason I played it was because of my love of Hampshire, my love of watching him playing for Hampshire. And I was one of his biggest supporters When he got picked for England, it was just great to see people on the national stage and the world stage just see how phenomenally great he was. Sure, he had his limitations when it came to spin and obviously post injury as well, but at his absolute peak, one of the most ferocious batsmen and just an absolute brute of a warrior. And so sadly missed. Obviously the thing when you grow older is like you say, you live long enough, you will these things happen, but it doesn't dilute, sort of their impact on yourself, and it brings back like so many of my great memories playing sport. And there's reasons you get into sport, whether it's your parents, your siblings, or whatever. Um, and obviously, I'd play cricket because of my brother, and obviously a little bit with my dad as well. But equally, my interest in cricket starts with Hampshire. It stays with Hampshire because of him. It transcends over to England because of him. The very fact that I love to speak to, ex players like your Allan Lambs and your Stuart McGills and know plenty of others, and I've worked with many a cricket team as well. And my passion for the sport really sort of, I would say, pretty much started that and was maintained by the likes of Robin to begin with, and then carried on, with the likes of Shane Warne, sort of after that. And yeah, rest in peace, Robin. And thank you for some of the absolute best sporting memories. As somebody that loves cricket to its absolute core, from sort of 80s, 90s, all the way up to the modern day now. Um, Thank you for the phenomenal performances. Thank you for everything you gave to sort of Hampshire sport, not just cricket. That Hampshire cricket, sure, he's Mr. Hampshire. For as long as Hampshire Cricket Club will be around, he'll be, for me, arguably the biggest icon the county probably ever have. His entire career, they've just been was an absolute stalwart, phenomenal player, and phenomenal. I hope England fans, look back and remember just how great he was, and a great player in an era of phenomenal competition, phenomenal bowlers, and yeah, just sadly missed. But so many wonderful memories, and it's linked to my sort of childhood and me playing cricket as well. And every time I talk about cricket, when I sort of started playing, and I always say, first thing I say is, favorite player ever, Robin Smith. Second favorite player ever is Shane Warne, and it always has been and always will be, one of my, as I say, the pinnacle. And it's just, yeah, just sadness, but absolute blessings that I got to see such a wonderful player and an individual play and bring such joy to me, which then gave me the inspiration to play. And just sad I never got the opportunity really have a conversation with himself. I did reach out a couple of times many years ago, and it wasn't to be, unfortunately, on that front. But to all friends and family of Robin, you have my very best wishes, and just an absolute legend, for me, an absolute legend of English sport, an absolute legend of worldwide cricket, and lastly, one of Hampshire's very best sportsmen ever. And yeah, thank you so much for everything, Robin. And yeah, I'll leave you with that, guys. I wanted to it's only a short post today, so not a crazy video, but it wouldn't be fitting to not put a video up with one of my most inspirational sort of sporting figures and icons. And sport plays so much of a role in my life. For 30 odd years of my life, I was dominated by playing it. I wanted to do sport for a living. I wanted to be a professional. I couldn't be. Didn't unfortunately didn't have the speed or the height or whatever it was. In various sports. But the next best thing for me was to actually work in sport. I've had the pleasure of working with cricket clubs. I've had the pleasure of working the Ryder Cup. I've had the pleasure of working with numerous Premier League football teams. I've had the pleasure of working with Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund, you name it, and basketball teams as well. So it's yeah, a great sadness, to sort of post this, but I hope you guys, feel inspired to really go and search YouTube, go and look back at some of his fantastic knocks, go and look back at, his performances against legends like Curtly, Ambrose, and enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Speak to you more soon. Rest in peace, Judge.